recycling may be good for the planet, but it is not so good for city budgets.
Cities and towns in Utah are changing the rules of recycling as the practice becomes less profitable. Fox 13's Kirsten Nunez has the story.
There's confusion in the world of recycling right now. A lot of cities have seen a lot of changes over the past year, and what can go in here depends on where you live. So with all of that confusion, you add in rising costs and mix that with contamination. We ask the question, is recycling just garbage?
I mean, there's many ways you can answer that question.
Let's dive into the bottom of the blue bin. Recycling really gained momentum 30 years ago when the bulk of American recyclables shipped cheaply to China. Would-be waste was given a new life. This worked great until the end of 2017. With dirty waste contaminating imported recyclables and the rising cost of labor, China called it quits.
Since then, we've had little to no incentive to invest in better technology for recycling and waste management.
Now most of the U.S. is decades behind in recycling.
And the current state is a short-term crisis mode.
Critics argue right now recycling is a tough economic sale.
I think cities across the country are facing these budget crunches where previously they were being paid to have the recycling taken off their hands, and now they're paying 2 to 3 times the landfill costs of the same things.
Cities here in Utah are trashing their recycling programs. As of January 1st, Cedar City no longer provides recycling bins. Draper and Midvale are no longer accepting paper-based products. That means no cereal boxes, office paper, newspapers, cardboard, or even brown paper bags. And getting rid of recycling, or at least shortening the list of things they'll take in, is a discussion many cities in Salt Lake County are being forced to have. In Weber County, some cities are struggling to justify the cost. Recycling rising from $39 to $53 a ton in some areas. Meanwhile, some landfills will take in a ton for $16.
We have an abundance of land relative to other areas, and that makes our landfill costs really, really affordable and compared to other areas.
And with cities trying to make it more cost effective, it can get confusing. For example, Provo doesn't accept plastics 3 through 7. That means your window cleaner bottles, food packaging, aspirin bottles, and yogurt containers cannot go in. In addition to cost and confusion is contamination. Some areas throughout Utah are seeing up to 50% of their recyclables landing in the landfill. That's because wet, gooey, dripping food waste covers the recycling bin, contaminating the entire batch.
Recycling done really, really well can be a great thing, but the way it's done most of the time ends up being environmentally damaging.
So how do we recycle really, really well? Take a look at Salt Lake City. With their education team going bin to bin, making sure residents are recycling the right things, and when they're not, educating them. With 42,000 homes participating, the city successfully diverts up to 750 tons of recyclable materials a month from the landfill, and contamination rates are only at 15%.
Hey, this isn't just about recycling being this blue bin of mystery that you just throw a bunch of stuff in. We actually need to think about what we're putting in.
Now, for the first time in 5 years, the city is considering a rate increase on recycling. Their team is reviewing a record-breaking response to a city survey. And initial findings?
Overall, we saw that 95% of respondents to the online survey support recycling.
While they don't know how much that increase will be, Salt Lake City is looking forward to a new state-of-the-art recycling center opening this spring that will service the entire valley.
This has been kind of a painful couple years, a recycling reckoning, if you will. But I think that there is a huge silver lining, and that's that we are getting so much more attention on the fact that recycling is the last of the 3 R's. Reduce and reuse, even refuse, are just as important.
And that's what most can agree on.
I'm sort of a technological optimist. I'm hopeful that new technologies will come around that will make recycling more affordable and more environmentally friendly. And so that's sort of one of the reasons why I continue to recycle and why I hope that recycling doesn't completely go away.
Kirsten Nunez, Fox 13 News, Utah.